Miss Nikki in the house.
So we know what we're good at, but we know we're not good at. We spend all of our time.
My family know I've been married for 10 years. I have.
I had changed my life so much in such a short
time. I've been doing that for 18 to 19 years.
I'm one of those people who I think, I grew up
serving the majority, as far as I can remember, as a kid.
Hey everyone! Yes, I am Chandra, and
allow themselves to be free. Sometimes I do coaching and other things like that, but
dance was my life. Dance is what I knew. Dance is what I breathed.
I lost a lot of time with my daughter in that first year.
It was an amazing job for actors.
All right. Hey, and welcome to the Commit to Change, otherwise known as C2C podcast, that gives a voice to the people who may be considered a small fry in their industry, but are doing big things in their communities. This is Miss Nikki, the Jane of all trades, but the master of living. I am committed to introducing local VIPs, which are vivaciously inspiring people to encourage you on your daily journey, as well as let you know what is possibly happening around you in your area. Well, today is no different than the other because we have an awesome guest, and all my guests are awesome. But today we have a guest, and I have to say she's actually someone who is in a course with me in another platform, and she was kind of a little shy about coming today. So I just want to tell everybody, yes, let's give it up for her for coming on today. So I'm so excited because she has a lot to share. So let me give you a little background about her before I even say her name. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She is a tarot reader, an energy healer, and a spiritual life coach for those on their path to personal and spiritual development, on a mission to inspire others to use their intuition and earn a living with their spiritual gifts. She specializes in helping others overcome their fear of feeling weird or being out there in their spiritual beliefs, and encourages spiritually based entrepreneurship by sharing your spiritual gifts and abilities within the world. She's based in St. Paul, Minnesota. So give it up for all the Minnesotians out there. Woohoo! And she works with clients throughout the Twin Cities and globally through her online business. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Toni Geurts. Woohoo!
Oh my God, Nikki, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Such a huge fan of what you do. I fully support this podcast, and I'm so excited to be here today. So just thank you.
You're absolutely welcome.
I love this so much. So as Nikki mentioned, my name is Toni. I'm a tarot reader, energy healer, and intuitive life and business coach for entrepreneurs in spiritual and personal development circles. I live in St. Paul, and I'm based out of the Twin Cities, where I work locally with clients in addition to my online services. I am a biracial Filipino-American, and I identify as she, her. I am currently living with my boyfriend and our 2 pets. We have an orange tabby named Clementine and my 8-year-old corgi named Starbuck.
Oh, I'm partial to the tabby. I had a tabby, and his name was Tabby Hobbs Johnson.
Oh, that's so cute. I love orange tabbies.
Yes, it was named after like Calvin and Hobbes. That's why I said Tabby Hobbs.
So funny. So I had a dog growing up named Hobbs. Based on Calvin and Hobbes. I love that comic strip. It is so good.
See, I knew it. There was something. There we go. That is so funny. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Let me stop getting all excited because I get too excited sometimes. So Toni, please tell our audience what inspired you to make that commitment to change your life.
I love this question. So when I first made this decision, it was really about saying yes to myself. I was living in a spiritual broom closet. I thought my intuition and spiritual gifts were weird and taboo. I didn't openly talk about who I was with my friends and family. I definitely didn't discuss it at work or with my coworkers. But I had an opportunity to do something I love, and it fell into my lap, and I decided that I couldn't keep saying no. I was invited to read at a local metaphysical store, and I decided to take that leap of faith and try it, even when I felt like I wasn't good enough or ready to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward about a year and a half later, and my priorities are shifting a little bit. Working kind of in personal development and within spiritual development communities, I've seen the level of appropriation and privilege and supremacy that exists in spiritual and personal development circles. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of my new mission to bring these issues to light and to make this industry more accessible to the people that it belongs to. So my commitment to change started with myself. It started with this commitment to say, you know what, you are enough, you are ready, you can do better, and it's time for you to do this. And now that I've been in it for a while, I'm starting to see, these new, I kind of have like this new lens of like different issues that are within this community. And it's just like, no, that's got to change too. So I'm in the process of pivoting a little bit. But that's where my commitment started. It started with myself, and now it's my commitment to others.
So what would you say has been your biggest obstacle since you made this decision, and how exactly did you overcome it?
So it's definitely my own healing. I have a belief that you don't just get to do this work or teach this work to other people without doing it on yourself first. I needed to face my own fears. I needed to face my own limiting beliefs. And I needed to do my own healing in order to be able to hold the same space for someone else. And it's hard work. It's hard work to get into your mindset and your beliefs and, even trauma that you've been holding on to and you haven't worked through. Well, that's definitely been the hardest part for me over the last year and a half, is doing my own work in order to be able to hold this space for someone else.
Right. And something about that is some people don't realize that it's ongoing. It's not like this one-time deal, like you're going to deal with this problem and then it's like, oh, miraculously everything, is fixed. It's an ongoing thing to get over those type of fears. And you have to do the work, and you have to be willing to do the work. And it's also nice sometimes to have a support system. So who would you say has been or is still your biggest supporter?
Yeah, I love that. So I have been so blessed to have an incredible community of support throughout this process, which is so necessary. I have a couple of close friends that I've really relied on. Outside of that, I've also had therapy, my own coaches, and then my own spiritual and coaching community to lean on, which I encourage anyone who's doing this or wanting to start doing this, find your community, find your support system of people who can help you to make the change that you want to do.
Absolutely. So now with you saying that you have a community of support, so now my question to you is, how do you feel like with you making this change and you giving back in this way, how do you feel like you're adding value to your surrounding community?
I love that. So I feel really strongly that helping others feel comfortable in their own beliefs, intuition, choices, and decisions is so necessary and needed in the world. So my tarot and coaching services are great practices to help people explore that space. Outside of my paid services, people can experience the value of tarot and the value that tarot can provide by learning to read themselves. There are multiple free tarot meetups throughout the Twin Cities that are run by donation or pay what you can. These are all level classes designed to help people connect with their intuition using tarot as a tool. It's a great free service and value to people who can access at no to low cost, and really allows you to explore ways to connect with your own intuition and spirituality using a really fun, artistic, and expressive medium. Outside of that, I also offer a really similar experience to my online community. It's a way for people to connect outside of the Twin Cities and still experience an intuitive learning experience online.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your online community? Like, what is it that you do? Like, give us a little background on that.
Yeah, I love that. So my online community is called the Soulwork Society. It's a space for people wanting to do their own personal and spiritual development within a community. It's really just community. It is just a place for you to be able to feel like you have that level of support you're looking for. So I offer a lot of free services within there. One is my online tarot meetup. I'm also wanting to start a Reiki circle soon. So anyone who's familiar with that type of energy work, essentially it's just going to be a free circle for people to receive Reiki energy, or for Reiki practitioners to send it. So it's really just a community where we're exploring journal prompts and, looking at some of that inner work and some of those pieces that you guys are wanting to work through in a community that is willing to hold that space for you.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to check out that community. Yes. I like that type of stuff. So I have a question, because you talked about just having to do the personal work in order for you to take the step so that way you can help others, which a lot of people who want to do certain things, they forget that most times you have to start with yourself anyway, because that analogy of being on the airplane where they say the oxygen mask comes down, you have to put it on yourself first before you give it to the next person. And so I know that's been one of even my struggles when it comes to, health and wellness, and, that image of like, oh, I don't look the part because I'm going through my own struggle. Yeah. And instead of looking at it like, well, I'm human and I'm also going to go through the same struggles as my clients will, why wouldn't they accept that? My knowledge of things doesn't change. Maybe my body may, but my knowledge doesn't change. And I'm struggling just like the next person. And so in that sense, some people might get deterred. So what tips or advice would you give to someone who is sitting on the fence of their field of dreams?
Absolutely. That is such a good analogy too. I love that. But really my advice to people who are on the fence is to feel the fear and do it anyway. You have a story, you have a voice, you have messages, experiences, talents, and gifts that are worthy and deserving of sharing. Do your own healing. You may not be responsible for your wounds, but your healing is your responsibility. Seek community, find a group, find a pro bono or sliding fee therapist, borrow a book. There are so many resources and tools available to you, and you owe it to yourself to heal. Yes. So that's my advice. Just do it anyway.
Just do it. Yes. All right. It's time for lightning round. Lightning round. Woo, 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 woo. So in lightning round, I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and then you just answer it short, sweet, and quick, short, and sweet, or whatever. Or if we talk about it, we can talk about it. Whatever. It's all good.
I love it.
Yeah. So now the first question is very similar to what I asked you in the beginning about what obstacles that you may have dealt with. But this time I'm going to ask you, what initially held you back from making that change?
I love this question. I feel like you wrote this question just for me. Really, guys, it was my own stories. It was my own stories that I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving enough, that I'm not ready to be here, that other people deserve to be here more than I do. I needed some space to work through that. I needed some space to be like, no, you, like, if you are going to tell other people that they are worthy of being here, you need to be able to do it and yourself. So yeah, I mean, it was my own stuff, really.
Okay. And what do you think is the best advice that you've ever received?
Oh, there's so much, so much. But the biggest thing is no one feels ready. Like, this is what you were just saying, Nikki, you know, like you got to put on your own oxygen mask first, you know, like no one ever feels ready to take that leap. It's just something that you need to be able to do.
Right. It's the same, even like, and again, I'm not sorry with the analogies, but it makes me also think about like children. Everyone's always trying to get ready when the child comes about, but you can never be ready for a child because you don't know what that child is to bring. The child could, you know, there could be all kinds of things that each child is different, and you can't really truly be prepared for what's coming with that child. So
exactly,
you have no choice but to just do it at that point, you know.
Exactly.
Right. So, okay. So share a personal habit that contributes to your success.
I love this. So of course I'm going to take this a little spiritual, but my daily habit is just checking my energy. I believe that there's nothing more important than your energy. So I make a daily habit of grounding, centering, clearing my space, and just letting go of things that I'm holding on to that aren't mine. Like, I can feel when my energy's off. Like, I can feel when I'm stressed. I can feel when I'm not really in my body. And just taking, seriously, a minute, 5 minutes, like, it doesn't have to be this long thing, but just to focus on my breath, to really just ground and kind of center and get back into my body is so important.
Yes, being grounded. That's important. Definitely. Now, what book would you recommend to commit to change and why?
I love this question. So I'm going to go in a different direction here for a minute. But the book that I'm going to recommend, and this is especially for the white people in the audience here, but I'm going to recommend White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. There are so many required books on racism by people of color that should be read. But as a white person, I find Robin is able to speak to people in a way that can be heard. So I think that this book is absolutely necessary and something that people should read.
Okay. White Fragility?
White Fragility.
Fragility.
Yeah, Fragility.
Okay. And it's Robin
DiAngelo.
DiAngelo. I mean, can I read it too? I know you said
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Toni. So if you found out that you had 1 hour left to live and you were given the opportunity to share one final message, what would it be?
Cool. So we've talked about this a little bit, but ultimately comes down to you've got to do your own work. And you start today. There is nothing magical about New Year's. There is nothing magical about starting on a Monday. It's not about putting it out into the future. It's about doing what you can today.
Absolutely.
So if that's my one thing left that I can impart on someone, I would say do it and do it today.
Yes. Oh my God, you just touched on something that is like, yes. There's no, why put it off to tomorrow? Why put it off to Monday? Just say, screw it. I'm going to do it now. Why wait? Because your mindset is going to be the same today. If you're telling yourself you're going to do it, just do it. Don't wait for this, like you said, that magical Monday. And to me, I think Mondays, most people have a negative thought process when it comes to Monday. So why would you pick the worst day?
Yes.
Like, duh. Okay. Now, all right. So our lightning round is over, but I wanted to just throw a different question in there because I keep saying I'm going to add this into my line of questioning, but we talk about success a lot. And I know that everyone has their own idea of what success is. So I just want to know, what is success to you?
That's beautiful. Okay. So success isn't a number. It isn't this outside thing. Success is something that you feel within you. It is definitely an energy, of like gratitude. It's like an energy of like thankfulness that you have within yourself. It's kind of this energy of like, I feel so often we're constantly striving and we're never arriving. You know, we're always set on like this goal, and we might hit it, but then there's this next thing after that.
Mm-hmm.
And success isn't about constantly chasing this thing that's in front of you. It's about appreciating where you are now, and celebrating how far you've come.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Celebration. That's something that people don't do either, is celebrate themselves. Like when you hit those milestones, give yourself that pat on the back, you know, you did a good job, because it's hard work. I mean,
it is.
Even if it is easy, it seems easy, it's still hard work.
It is.
There are a lot of trials and tribulations or obstacles that you have to go through, and you push through, and it's an accomplishment.
Exactly. And like when you're always striving, you're never arriving. You know, like you need to be able to acknowledge when you hit that milestone. You know, you need to be able to like celebrate that win and congratulate yourself.
No matter how small it is. I mean, it depends on what your struggle is every day.
Yes.
I mean, if it's something to the effect that you are so depressed and you don't want to get out of the bed in the morning, and there's that one morning you get out of the bed, you better be celebrating like, oh my God, I did it today. I got out of the bed.
Yes.
And
I was thinking about that same thing. Some days your win is just getting out of bed.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so wow, Toni, you did it. We finished. Yay! Please tell our audience where we can find out more about you and what you are doing.
Oh, Nikki, this was such a pleasure. I loved this conversation. So thank you for having me. Yeah, nothing scary about this at all. I don't know why it took me so long to want to do this. It was so much fun. But yes, I would love if you guys want to check me out further. I am on Facebook and Instagram under Soulwork Society. You can also find my personal page, just Toni Geurts. In addition to that, I also have a link that you guys can reach me at if you want to schedule a reading or healing session with me. I always think that this time of year is kind of the perfect time to reflect on the previous year, the year ahead. Just a great time to kind of stop and reflect intuitively on where you've been, where you're at, where you want to go. So I do have a special offer for anyone who's listening to this today and finds me through this podcast. I am offering a 1-hour reading, as well as a 30-minute Reiki session for free. So the hour reading is paid, but you would get the free Reiki session if you book. I'll provide my links to Nikki so you guys know how to reach me. And if that's something that you're feeling called to do, I would love to explore that with you guys.
Fantastic. I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. So here we go. That is a wrap. To my audience, I want to thank you again, Toni, for coming on the C2C podcast and for being a VIP guest. And I want to, you're welcome. And I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. We hope you feel inspired to keep moving forward towards your goals and stick with or make a commitment of your own to change your life. Please make sure to check out the links provided by our guests and share today's podcast and information with anyone you feel may benefit from it. And remember, in order to get to the top of the steps, you have to take the first step. Just don't step on anyone on the way, because you just might trip. This is Miss Nikki. Till next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Nikki.
You're welcome.